post it later to some of our pages. So if you see that we're recording, don't be alarmed. But I am here to sit back and listen and hear from some really awesome people on campus. And the first one of those people who is a first generation student back in the day herself is Sally Parrish. I'll let her tell you a little bit more about what she does on campus and about her experience, but she's a major advocate for students on our campus, in our state, and in our community. We're really excited to have her just kind of welcome y'all tonight and talk to you for just a second. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Sally.
Thanks so much, Paige, and good evening, everyone. Go Tigers. I hope while you are paying very close attention to this very important webinar right now, you are also watching our men's basketball team as they take on Wichita State and hopefully win that game this evening. So as Paige shared, I had the great opportunity of attending the University of Memphis as an undergraduate student. In fact, fun fact, I am still a student at the University of Memphis as I am finishing up my doctorate this year and hopefully graduating again from the University of Memphis in May. I am someone who really, everything good that's ever happened to me, I credit the University of Memphis for that. And I can say that incredibly, genuinely, and honestly. And it's an interesting situation to have this conversation with you all from my dining room table. But when I think about the first conversations I had about the University of Memphis, they were also around my dining room table when I was growing up. So I'm the first in my family to go to college. I come from a really small town in Middle Tennessee where none of my classmates actually really left the small town in Middle Tennessee. And I had a recruiter come in from the University of Memphis. Her name was Mona. And the way that she talked about the opportunities that would await me at the U of M, I knew that I had to be there. And so I took one campus tour at the University of Memphis. I still remember my tour guide. It was pouring down rain that day. And yet she still helped me to fall in love with the institution that I've called home for nearly 20 years now. When I look back on my experience, I'm incredibly grateful for the people at the University of Memphis that brought me in as a first generation college student who knew nothing about all of the acronyms and all of the processes and all of the things that college was supposed to be about. I sometimes share a funny story about how on my first day of class at the university, I ended up in the wrong classroom and I sat through an entire hour-long flute class because, and I was supposed to be in a drama class, and because I was this first gen student and I didn't know where I was supposed to be, and I just went to a classroom and sat there. But that faculty member was someone who showed me the right way and put me in touch with opportunities to get involved at the University of Memphis. And it made a college campus that once felt so huge to me feel so small. So you have to understand where I'm coming from as a first gen, still as a first gen college student, right? I'm still right there with you. I grew up in a town where we let school out and our marching band played when we opened our Walmart. So when I came to Memphis, it was this big city and sea of opportunity. And it's really lost. It's easy to feel lost in that sea. But I found my way at the U of M through getting involved in things that I was passionate about. And so I joined organizations. I joined the Student Government Association. I joined my sorority. And by my senior year, I was president of my sorority and I was president of that same Student Government Association. And I was an orientation guide and a Frosh Camp counselor who was helping first gen students like me make their way and make their home at the U of M. And so as I sit here at my dining room table where families have conversations about the future all the time, I think about your future and I hope that you find the university to be as welcoming and as warm and inviting of a place as I have found it to be. I look at the wall directly across from where I'm sitting and there's a wooden piece of art that says, "There's nothing half so pleasant as coming home again." And for me, the opportunity to come back to the university and give back to the institution that has given me so much has really been the privilege of a lifetime. And I see it, as many of the folks you'll hear from tonight do, I see it as really my life's purpose to help students find their way and to become the best versions of themselves that they can be. And I truly believe the place to do that for me and for you is the University of Memphis. It's a place that means so much to so many of us because it has given each of us purpose. It has given each of us a future. For me, it's where I met my husband. It's where my children go to school. It's truly everything that a home could ever be. And so I hope that you will enjoy hearing from tonight's panelists and presenters, but know that they're not just professionals. These are folks who wake up every single day thinking about how to make students' lives like yours better and more enriched and more fulfilled, and ultimately to help you reach great heights and do all of the great things that you could ever hope to do and be right here at the University of Memphis. So I look forward to seeing you when you accept your opportunity and invitation for admission, because I know you will. I will personally take you to lunch. I will take you to coffee. I will cheer you on at Tiger games and look forward just to being a part of your community. College really does take a village, and I'm so glad that you will be part of ours. So thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for your interest in the University of Memphis. If I can ever help you in any way, certainly reach out. Have a great evening and go Tigers.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sally. And what she failed to mention is that she is on our leadership team here at the University of Memphis. And so she's done a lot of things on our campus. She's worked at other institutions that we will not name, but she is here as one of our high-ranking staff and faculty members here on campus to welcome you and tell you that she really and truly does, as well as the rest of the leadership team here at the University of Memphis, care about you. And so, like I said, we're excited to get to know y'all. I'm seeing it's really fun to see y'all's information come through in the comments. We've got Knoxville, we've got Bolivar. I don't know if it was Tennessee or Mississippi, both exist. A lot of Memphis and Bartlett. So it's very cool to see where y'all are coming from. And I wish I could shout you all out individually, but feel free to engage in the chat. And so one last thing, I know some of you probably already heard this, but if you missed it, we are using the webinar feature. So there is a chat button down at the bottom at the 3 dots, and there's also a Q&A feature. So feel free to use the chat throughout the evening. And then once we get to our panel, we would love for y'all to drop some questions. And if you think of something, feel free to use that Q&A feature now. But I am going to sit back and move things along to Jamie Staggs, who's here with admissions and orientation. And right now, I think y'all can probably only see my face if this is working the way I think it is, but I'm going to show you everyone else who is here, and we'll jump in and let you hear from some great people on campus. So thank you, Jamie. Take it away.
Great. Well, good evening and welcome. It is truly my pleasure to serve as your moderator during this evening's program. And I think you're going to find that we have assembled a panel that is very knowledgeable staff members, and it's going to be an honor to introduce them. So joining me this evening is Corey Major from our Office of First Generation Student Success. Also, Jackie Rodriguez, First Scholars and Opportunity Scholars. Melvin Harding from Student Success Programs. Matt Rhodes from Financial Aid and Scholarships. And then Bobby Smith, who's a current student, a senior public relations major, and another current student, Morgan Nelson, who is a major in nursing. Throughout this program, we're going to take turns sharing helpful information with you. And as Paige said, you're welcome to share questions with us as we go along. And then we're going to take time at the end to address the questions that you have. So I'm going to kick things off with the first slide. All right. So I am a first generation college student, and I will admit to you that when I was a junior and senior in high school, I really didn't have a good understanding of how a college admissions and orientation office could help me. Well, that's not going to be the case with all of you, because I'm going to share 3 ways in which our office, admissions and orientation, can really be of assistance to you and your family. So number 1, we share lots of information. So like the information that you see on this slide, we share a lot of facts about the university. And you'll notice that bullet point number 4 lets you know that 34% of our students are first generation college students. But we also love to brag about a lot of other things on campus. So my office brags about the academic majors, the student clubs that you may want to join, internship opportunities, what it's like to live on campus, your various dining options, athletic events that you can attend, study abroad opportunities. And then we even like to brag about the great features that you're going to find in the city of Memphis. And this is important, we try to answer your questions. Okay, so think of the admissions and orientation office as a help desk, a place you can go for assistance, and we will do our best to try to answer your questions. Number two, our office does assist you with the actual admission process. So we are here to help you when you're completing that application. If you have questions, reach out to us. We are the ones that review your transcripts. If you send us ACT and SAT scores, again, that's our office. And sometimes you may want to double check that we received a document. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. Or maybe you need help accessing your My Memphis account after you've been admitted. We understand this is the first time that you're doing many of these activities, and we want you to be excited about being admitted, and we want you to be excited about becoming a U of M Tiger. What I don't want, and we want to reduce, is your anxiety and your fear. And so there may be times where you should just reach out to us, reach out to our office for clarification. And I promise you, it will not hurt your chances of being admitted if you ask for help, okay? Number three, our office, we guide you through those final steps that you have to complete to enroll. It's an exciting time, but it's also when you're about ready to graduate from high school, and sometimes you're a little overwhelmed. But I want to reassure you, it's okay. You're going to receive emails and texts, and sometimes even a call from us, because we want to make sure that you get those final steps done on time. For example, new student orientation. And this is that meeting when you come to campus and you meet with your academic advisor, you choose your classes, you get lots of beneficial information to help you start college strong, and you meet other students. We're not going to let you miss that opportunity. We're going to be sending you notifications just to make sure you get all those steps fulfilled at the end. So in closing, I hope you think of the admissions and orientation office as your help desk, someone that you can reach out to for assistance until you're here on campus with us. Next, I want to introduce Corey Major again, and he'll be talking to us about the Office of First Generation Student Success.
Good evening, everyone. So I really could substitute my own story with the soon-to-be Dr. Parrish's story. Take out small town Tennessee and put in small town Arkansas, and change almost 20 to almost 30. And our story is remarkably similar. It's hard to believe, and I almost cursed myself for doing the calculation to see that this August will mark 28 years that I've been associated with the University of Memphis. Having come to the university as a freshman in the fall of 1992, I too was on that path through the University of Memphis to become among the first in my family to graduate with a bachelor's degree. And I say it that way because one thing I've learned through this journey, both as a student and professionally, is that oftentimes our students will think that, oh, I have a cousin who went to college, or my older sibling has gotten a degree, so I'm not first gen. Know that as a trailblazer, you are walking with several others, sometimes in your immediate family, but sometimes those trailblazers are among you at the university. And so the Office of First Generation Student Success exists because the University of Memphis is one of the trailblazing institutions across the country when it comes to supporting first generation students. As you'll see on my slide, there are two symbols on the, what's that, left? I never learned left from right, so if I say the wrong left, I mean the other one. But down there on the left-hand side, you'll see two symbols, two logos, First Gen Forward and first scholars. The University of Memphis was recognized early on, back in the early 2000s, for the work we did through the program that Mr. Harding is going to talk to you about, our SSP program. Recognizing how strong our commitment was to first-gen students, we became among the first institutions in the country to host a First Scholars program, which Mrs. Rodriguez will talk to you about. We subsequently became part of the First Gen Forward, being in the first cohort of institutions recognized for, again, our support of first generation students. And now we're part of a new cohort of programs across the country that are working to take the great works that Jackie and those who've been working in the First Scholars area for probably over a decade now, what they've done and working to build that model and share that model with other institutions across the country. And so at the University of Memphis, we are right there in partnership with the admissions office, hoping that as you make that transition, that you're making those connections with the university, but not taking it for granted that you know that entry point. And so if you don't remember anything else, the Office of First Generation Student Success can, as Jamie mentioned, can be that help desk for you. We help you to make those connections across campus to programs for first-gen students, as well as programs that we know are there to support you and to ensure your success. My office specifically also takes leadership in facilitating and planning the national celebration of first-gen students in November each year. We have a program for first-year students called the Design Your Memphis Experience program, which allows you to earn up to $850 in scholarship monies for doing what's requested of you through this program. And the other major program that's coming directly out of our office is our peer-to-peer support program. And so as you complete your new student orientation program, you'll be hearing from a student who is part of that peer-to-peer support program, who's then reaching out to you over the summer to begin to make sure that, again, as Jamie said, you're doing all those things you need to do to be successful on day one and to not be behind, to ask any question that you think might be a dumb question. Because believe me, if you don't know the answer, I guarantee you there are tons of other ones out there who don't. My story, I didn't know I could drop a class. And so I took a calculus class my first semester. I had the worst experience academically in my life. I couldn't understand a thing going on in the class. I didn't know there were tutors that would help me with this. And as a result, at the end of the semester, I got the first not so great grade in my entire life. After my first semester in college, I was ready to leave because of a calculus grade. And I thought that I don't belong in college. The reality is that I persisted, I became engaged, and 28 years later, I'm still engaged with the University of Memphis. We're here to help you write your story, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in the fall.
Thank you, Corey. At this time, I want to transition to Jackie Rodriguez, and she can tell us more about First Scholars and Opportunity Scholars.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie Rodriguez. I am the Senior Program Manager for 2 scholarship programs here at the University of Memphis. The first one I'm going to talk about today is Opportunity Scholars. And I can go into detail about my own experience, but I really want to kind of get to the questions because I feel like I want to hear what questions you all have. But I'm from Hohenwald, Tennessee. I'm first gen. It's a really small town. It was a lot of culture shock for me coming here, but I came in '99 and I never left. I'm still here. So it's great to be a Tiger, y'all. But to get started with Opportunity Scholars, this is a program that is very near and dear to my heart. I'm passionate about these students. We have about 60 students in the program right now. This program was founded by Dr. Michael Spalding, who is the founder of Equal Chance for Education in Nashville, Tennessee. What we do in this program is we offer financial aid, holistic support, academic coaching, workshops, any kind of support we can give to these students, we give to them. And this is our DACA families. These are our temporary protected status and undocumented students. So what we do with this program, aside from offering the scholarships, which is right around $25,000 over 4 years, what we do is we also make sure every student, every member of the family has access to free immigration lawyers. This is important as you go and you renew your DACA. It's important for any other issues that might arise. So this is a great scholarship program. This is something that is, it's an instantaneous support network for everybody that's involved in it. Now, to be eligible for this program, you do have to have at least a 3.0 GPA. You do have to be here in the state of Tennessee, and you need to apply. You have until March. I think they're looking at mid-March, but you need to go to www.equalchanceforeducation.com. This scholarship is funded by that organization. It's not actually funded by the University of Memphis. It is through equalchanceforeducation.com. So you need to apply there. You're not going to find this scholarship in Tiger Scholarship Manager. Again, what we do is we max out at 80 opportunity scholars. So we're looking at potentially adding 20 more. Just depends how many apply and how many are accepted by Equal Chance for Education. What you do when you apply is you're going to put Memphis down as your college of choice. And again, if you have any other questions about this, I am happy to answer them in the breakout room. You can email me anytime. All of my information is on the memphis.edu website under Opportunity Scholars. And I'll talk a little bit more about that because they do a lot of the same things First Scholars does, but I'm going to go ahead and dive into First Scholars now. It's very similar. Again, we have 80 students in this program. That's our max. And this is just, again, one-on-one. We work with every student. And when I say we, I mean me. I am the staff member for First Scholars and Opportunity Scholars. These students meet with me one-on-one every month. So what we do is we talk about any and everything. It's counseling. It's making sure you immersed in all the knowledge about every resource on campus, building your personal and your professional network. So from day one, we're going to start talking about your resume, and I'm going to work with you on how we're going to build that, not just, professionally, but what are you doing with your co-curricular skills? What are you doing with your leadership? So this program, it's a little bit different from Opportunity Scholars in that this is specifically for first generation students. And when I say that, what we look at are students who neither of their biological parents have more than 2 years in like a accredited college, okay? It is a 4-year renewable scholarship. It's worth $20,000. You're gonna get $2,500 a semester, which I know everybody's probably most excited about hearing that. But what I have discovered, not just being first generation, but working with so many students over so long a time period, is that the money's great, but the invaluable, the thing that all of my students talk about is that one-on-one connection, having somebody there to answer every question 24/7. They all have my cell phone. They all have like a group communication. You will be matched with a peer mentor. A junior first scholar works with every freshman that comes in, and we support each other. It's instantaneous extended family. That first year, you're going to be in an ACAD class, which is our Intro to University course. You'll be working with me. I teach that class. And then every year after that, we do monthly workshops where we're going to do everything from meeting a member of the Memphis State 8, Miss Bertha comes and teaches our students, to meeting all sorts of other alumni and professional career opportunities. 2 years ago, we went to Puerto Rico and did study abroad, so we have lots of opportunities that come forward through First Scholars. They put in a lot of work. They do community service hours. They all have to be involved in 2 or more campus organizations. The monthly one-on-ones, we have to do that as well as part of our requirement. For this scholarship, you don't have to have a 3.0 like the Opportunity Scholars. It is a 2.5 GPA. So there's a little bit more wiggle room there. So 2.5 GPA, and test score wise, really looking for something from a 17 to a 27. That's kind of the the test score range we are in First Scholars. But the application is now listed online. Our deadline is February 1st, and that's at memphis.edu/First Scholars. That one is also not on Tiger Scholarship Manager. So both of my scholarships, you need to go to the website directly to apply. That's it for me.
Well, thank you, Jackie. We appreciate that information. Next, we're going to hear from Melvin Hardy about student success programs.
Okay, I think I was muted. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Again, good evening, scholars. Again, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life, guys. I can finally remember my undergraduate participation. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But now the day goes by, and I'm in my mid 50s now. It was easily the most significant period of my life, particularly those undergraduate years, those 4 years. So you'll find that as you're developing kind of your life's philosophies about the way you spend money, what you eat, the places that you'll go vacation, most of those are going to kind of be forged at the undergraduate level. I still keep a lot of the just my philosophical base developed at that undergraduate piece, and the roommates that I had, the relationships that I had, those are still prevalent in terms of the way I kind of navigate my personal space. I've been here in Memphis. I'm not like a lot of my colleagues here. I've been in Memphis since 2014. I actually transitioned from Indiana. I'm originally from Gary, Indiana. And you may know Gary, Indiana is the home of Michael Jackson. His brothers actually attended the same high school that I attended. But I came down here in 2014 for a couple of reasons. I actually knew that it was a unique opportunity to manage and run this TRIO program, which I'll talk about here in just a second. And the other was that growing up in the Chicago area, when you get a little bit older, I mean, it's during this time of the year, it's a brutally cold place. And I remember when I was younger, it was very tolerable. I could handle like -10 and 50 inches of snow per year. But as you get a little older, it got a little bit tougher. So actually it was a dual opportunity, a dual benefit for actually transitioning down here to the University of Memphis as well as escaping the snow. But anyway, I attended Gary Roosevelt High School. Gary Roosevelt was about 95% African-American high school. It was actually a school that was set up in the 1920s, specifically for African-American students. In Gary, if you look at some of the history of how the city grew, it's built upon the steel mill industry. So a lot of folks, including my father and my mom, transitioned from the South to go up to Indiana and Gary to get some of those steel mill jobs. So Roosevelt was set up as a school to educate African-American students. My senior year, and this is a true story, and guys, please refrain from laughing at this, but it's a true story. You know how, you're going to college, you say, well, everybody's going to college and I'm going to college. But halfway through this whole process, I still had not done any applications. I had not met with my guidance counselor. This is a true story, Corey. I will never forget, in March of I'm not going to say, that was my senior year, but I was actually going to my locker. I was actually getting a book out of my locker. And I don't know how it works at your school, but we had strict discipline at our school in that if you are caught in the hallway, when that bell rings, you will get a detention. So I was trying to avoid the detention. So I ran. I actually thought I kind of timed out the process. I thought I can get to my locker and open it up, put the code in. Of course, when you're nervous, you never get that code in correctly. So I was trying to get that in. Young lady to my right, young man to my left. Long story short, the young lady actually dropped some papers. Again, this is, me getting my locker. And she actually, it made me even more nervous because she dropped the papers, but she got her locker. She got in and she got out of the locker and was gone. So natural instinct, grab that paper or grab those papers, and then just kind of, I leaned toward her, tried to go after her. Oh, you dropped this. She was already gone. I just took the papers and slammed the locker door. I finally got it open, slammed the door open, got to my geometry class, and I sat down. And guess what? That paper was that I had in my senior year that young lady dropped. It was her application to Ball State University that she dropped. And I looked it over. I mean, the teacher was talking and then whatever. Again, I never was able to find the student. I actually took it home, and me and my mom looked at that application. It looked pretty like a job application, name, social security, and all that. I felt embarrassed because I was a senior and I didn't understand the processes for applying to college. Long story short, we filled that out together on the kitchen table. I don't know if Sally is still there. We got it done. We sent it in. I have my undergraduate degree in legal administration and my master's degree in political science from Ball State. I mean, just to share that story, man. And I say that in that I was actually educated at Ball State and was able to come back to the region to work at Purdue University in Northwest Indiana. We had a local campus. You guys are probably more familiar with the Lafayette campus. Well, we had a local campus in Indiana, and there was a program called Educational Talent Search in that school, and I actually applied for a job. It was one of my first professional positions. I had an opportunity to work as a retention specialist to actually help students like myself so they won't have to go out and pick up applications off the floor, to actually be ready and prepared for college. I wish I would have had a talent search program. One of the sister programs of TRIO is Upward Bound. You may have heard of Upward Bound program. They're all part of a family. And the third program that I'm going to talk about is located here at the University of Memphis. It's called the Student Support Services, AKA Student Success Programs. But we're all part of what we call a group of TRIO programs, which if you Google TRIO and educational opportunity, you'll see that these programs started out in the 1960s as part of a response by President Johnson's war on poverty to ensure that we had educational opportunity for all students. So again, to make a long story short, I worked in talent search for a few years. I actually got a chance to direct that program in the mid 90s up into the mid 2000s. In 2014, I was offered a unique opportunity to come here to the University of Memphis to direct the TRIO Student Success Programs. We, like the other programs, work primarily with first generation low income and disabled students. We work with a small group, a relatively small group. Jamie showed you the stats in terms of 22,000 students here on campus, roughly 34%. If you look at the math, if you do the math in your head, that's roughly around what, a little bit more than 8,000 students. And we're not even talking about the low income or under-resourced students. So literally we work with a drop in a bucket of students. So I always tell students who come in, you have a unique opportunity when you take advantage of this particular program. And in a nutshell, what we do is we reduce the space. This is having 18 to 22,000 students on campus could be very intimidating. I can tell you as a first generation student, it was a very intimidating space for me. And what we do is, again, we'll sign you up. Right now, we're recruiting students for Summer Bridge. There are a couple of ways you can get into our program as a freshman. You can apply just under kind of the regular admission process without Summer Bridge. And you can also apply as a Summer Bridge participant, which I would prefer that you would do because you get some additional benefits. It may be financial. You also get an opportunity to visit the campus 1 week prior to, get into your dorm room early if you're staying on the dorms, and receive a week-long orientation with us regarding who we are and what we are about. You also get a chance as a Bridge participant to take a specialized course for 16 weeks with myself. It's truly a TRIO ACAD. You guys will be hearing that term if you haven't already registered. ACAD is basically a freshman experience course. We actually have a customized version of that freshman experience course, which you can take with us for 16 weeks, which actually allows you to have that additional kind of connection with our students and our staff. Again, very intimidating environment being a first generation student. Let me give you just a little bit about what we do in terms of services, and I'll go ahead and transition. Services, we do provide counseling. So as a director, I have 7 individuals under me. We have retention specialists, assistant directors. They all have relatively small caseloads. If you think about the 330 students are divided between myself and those 7, you get a customized experience. So you get a chance to develop a game plan to get you to the FedEx Forum, where Sally told you we're playing basketball at tonight, but we also graduate from. We make sure that you are having that you are aligned with a retention specialist that can develop your game plan that's customized to your own individual needs to get you down to the FedEx Forum, not only in a timely fashion, but with a minimal debt load. We have a specific emphasis on ensuring that our students do not graduate with debt. And that is a huge issue, particularly in society today. So you want to be cognizant of that. We also have our own walk-in lab. That's a space where you can work in in front of a computer. If you want to, if you want to need to print out some pieces or work on a project. We also host workshops in that building. That space is specifically reserved for TRIO student success programs participants. In certain cases, you could be eligible for additional financial aid. Remember I told you about reducing those debt loans, reducing student loan possibilities. We have money. We actually have about over $100,000 a year that we give out primarily to our freshman and sophomore participants who have needs. So keep that in mind. Theme workshops, we do financial literacy. We do time management. You name it in terms of themed workshops to help you kind of navigate the space and be a better student. Cultural activities, we do some fun stuff also. We'll go down to the Orpheum Theater. Our goal is to I believe the Hamilton is going to be playing here in the spring or in the summer. We actually, Jackie is waiting. She said, no, it's not going to happen. Oh man, we were looking to do that. But actually we do cultural activities such as plays and musicals at the Orpheum Theater. So you have access to that also. Let me mention also that everything that we do, every services that we provide is free to you, so you don't have to pay anything. We also monitor your academics. So in addition to your advisor, our staff, our retention specialists serve as a secondary advisor. We do graduate professional school tours. People don't think about it, but some of you may have done undergraduate tours. But if you've thought about doing a graduate school tour, so many times as you transition to the University of Memphis or other school, you may not be thinking about the next level in terms of getting your master's or doctorate degree. I wish as an undergrad, I had an opportunity to visit a UT Knox or a University of Mississippi or University of Chicago. That's what we do. We actually take you to visit some of these schools so you can have purpose in terms of your preparation for the next level. And you noticed I didn't say just the Tennessee schools. We've gone to DC to visit Howard University. We've gone to Atlanta to visit Georgia Tech. We've gone to St. Louis, Washington University. So we go several places in terms of helping you prepare for the next level beyond the undergraduate experience. Again, I talked about the grant aid. Let me close by saying with our project, again, there are limited spaces. Right now, we are taking in students. If you are formally committed to coming to the University of Memphis, you've been accepted, you have a U number, we can actually start the engagement process with you right now. So I would encourage you to go to our website to complete the application at memphis.edu/SSP, Stephen Paul, so that we can get you on board and assist you with getting you with the student success programs. Again, best of luck to you guys, and I look forward to talking to you in the breakout.
Perfect. Thank you, Melvin. Next, we get to hear more about scholarships and financial aid with Matt Rhodes.
Thank you, Jamie. So you've heard everyone so far talk, Sally, Jackie, Corey, Melvin, about what the university means to them. And I think that pretty consistently you can tell that the University of Memphis is very important to all of us, right? And also the success of our students is very important to all of us as well. So briefly, I have been an employee in some form or fashion of the University of Memphis since I was your age, students, since I was 17 years old. Way back, a couple months before I started college here, I was able to pick up a part-time job. But even before that, both my parents worked here. And I'm going to show you something real quick right here in my office. There's a picture of little bitty me on the front page of the Daily Helmsman, which is our University of Memphis newspaper, back in 1990, when my mom had made me a tiger suit and we went to a football game and I got to be on this field. So that is one of my earliest memories, is right here at the University of Memphis. And so it is a wonderful place. It means so much to so many of us, and we hope that you will come see what it can mean to you in your life. And with that being said, you have already heard about some of the many wonderful opportunities available at the University of Memphis as far as student support that we have available for various groups of students, but specifically first-generation students. You have heard about some of the financial aid and scholarship opportunities that are available. Corey and Jackie both talked about scholarships. Melvin talked about some grant programs. And I am the financial aid and scholarship outreach coordinator. Those programs that you've already heard about, by no means are those the only things that are available to you. Okay, so want to specifically point out, hey, do you have questions about any of these things? Financial aid, how are you eligible for certain things? The FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. The Tennessee Hope Lottery Scholarship for our Tennessee students, may have some questions about that. And other University of Memphis scholarship opportunities. Well, I am the person, or one of the people, but maybe a good starting point for getting those questions answered. And down at the bottom right hand corner, you will see my contact information. That is my direct email address and my direct phone numbers. I have two of them. I've got one for my left hand, one for my right hand, right? Both of those phones ring all day long, and I am here to help. But at any rate, I want to tell you a couple of things. Jackie had mentioned Tiger Scholarship Manager a couple of times, and that is a really important thing for you to check out, especially right now. We are coming up on February the 1st. Jackie also mentioned February the 1st being a deadline to apply for the first scholarship. February the 1st is one of our scholarship deadlines for this year, okay? For Tiger Scholarship Manager, which is our online application system for all of our private and departmental scholarships, there are over 700 scholarships on Tiger Scholarship Manager every year. If you are an admitted student, you have access to Tiger Scholarship Manager once you have set up your My Memphis account, the username and password. So I want you to check out Tiger Scholarship Manager and apply for as many scholarships as you can on Tiger Scholarship Manager. You start with a general application, and then you get a list of recommended scholarships to apply for. As Jackie mentioned, First Scholars is not going to be on there. Equal Opportunity Scholars is not going to be on there, but there are hundreds of other ones, including a couple that I would like to point out to you. One in particular that is specifically potentially eligible for first-generation college students, and that is the Memphis Advantage Scholarship. Now, there are several different qualifying criteria for that scholarship, but one of them is being a first-generation college student. That might not be the only thing that qualifies you, but I want you to check that out. Memphis.edu/scholarships will have more detailed information on that and many other scholarship opportunities. Memphis Advantage is a scholarship opportunity that is available in Tiger Scholarship Manager. So like I said, next, what is February the 1st? February the 1st is going to be, all right, not next Monday, but the Monday after that. That is the deadline to apply for those scholarships. And all the other ones on Tiger Scholarship Manager as well, the private and departmental ones. Academic scholarships are available at the University of Memphis as well. Kind of our academic scholarship range, your application to the University of Memphis is your application for our strictly academic scholarships. The ranges that we're looking for there are around a 3.25 cumulative GPA and higher. For Tennessee students, about a 22 on the ACT and up. For out-of-state students, we're looking for about a 24 on the ACT and up. So if you find yourself in that range, make sure that you are checking your My Memphis account frequently. Make sure that we have the accurate, the most up-to-date transcript, high school transcript for your GPA, your most up-to-date ACT and SAT scores as well. So be on the lookout for those things. And then the FAFSA. Usually I start with the FAFSA and don't stop talking about it, but I haven't really mentioned that so much yet. One question that I see right here, do you have to get both the score and the GPA to qualify for our academic scholarship specifically? The answer is yes, okay? But I'm going to point out something about the Hope Scholarship in just a moment. The FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. That is step number 1 in determining anything at all as far as federal and state financial aid and scholarship programs. And indeed, the FAFSA influences a lot of things having to do with scholarships as well, okay? So it's very important for everyone to fill out the FAFSA if you are eligible for it. So again, it's the free application for federal student aid. If you go to studentaid.gov, not .com, studentaid.gov, you will be able to access the FAFSA there. Before you complete a FAFSA, you need to create an FSA ID, a username and password, so that you can sign into it. Okay, so make sure that you complete your FAFSA. The Hope Scholarship, you do have to complete the FAFSA in order to qualify for the Hope Scholarship, as well as be a Tennessee resident, graduate from a Tennessee high school, and have either a 21 on the ACT, or for the Hope Scholarship, it's an or, a 3.0 cumulative unweighted GPA at graduation. So those are just a couple of the highlights that I wanted to mention to you right here, right now. We have the whole group. But again, if you have questions about anything having to do with financial aid or scholarships, or really, where is where's this hall or that hall, or, what's a good restaurant to eat around campus? As you can see, I've been around campus literally my whole life. I am here to help with that. So my contact information down there at the bottom, and look forward to talking to you all some more.
Right. Thank you, Matt. Well, next we get to hear from two of our current students. So Bobby and Morgan, it is your turn.
Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is Bobby Smith. I am a senior public relations major from Bartlett, Tennessee. And I'm also actually a first generation student here at the University of Memphis. And kind of just to enlighten you on what my college search journey looked like. I chose the University of Memphis because it had the most programs and opportunities for me to excel as a first gen student. Despite all these other programs that you've been hearing about tonight from Jackie and Melvin and Corey and everybody else, Memphis really does take care of its first generation students. I would say more than any other school. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just think that we offer really, really awesome opportunities for our first gen students. And that's why I'm proud to be part of the Memphis family.
Hey guys, my name is Morgan Nelson. Like Bobby, I'm also a first generation student. I'm from Arlington, Tennessee, and I am a nursing major, senior actually. So my college search journey did not start out with Memphis. I wanted to go everywhere else, but I found that everywhere else did not value me as a person, but they valued me as a number. And I know that being a number is not what anybody else wants to be. I hope you don't want to be that, because I don't want to be that. But here at the University of Memphis, I definitely found that staff knew my name, the other students knew my name. When I came for my emerging leaders interview, which is also another great program you guys should check into, all the students were talking to me. They wanted to know more about me. They knew that I was a first generation student, and they were proud of me for that, proud of me for stepping out. And I thank you guys for being here today, because that's definitely the first step that you take, is reaching out and trying to get this information. So I'm definitely happy to be a Tiger. I love that I'm here. I love that I'm graduating. These past 4 years have gone by really fast. I don't know about you, Bobby, but I'm lucky to be a Tiger for sure.
Okay, well, we've reached the point where we'd love to answer some of your questions that are coming in. And so what I'll do is check our chat, read a couple questions out, and get some answers. If there's a question that you really want to ask of the panel, please go ahead and add it in the Q&A section, and then we'll have our breakouts. So one question was, when will the Hope Scholarship money appear in my scholarship account? Matt, if you're willing to take that.
Sure. So that's an excellent question. So there are a few details that we would have to check specific to your account before I can really answer that specifically. But what I can say is that the process for awarding new incoming freshman students for state awards generally happens in the spring. Now, right now, classes started for us for the spring semester literally this week. So our Hope coordinator has been kind of primarily dealing with things for our current Hope students. But I know that next week is when within the next week or two. I don't want to speak specifically for her timeline, but within the next week or two is when she's going to start shifting gears and getting back into awarding, or starting up awarding for incoming students. Now, some of the details that we got to check on are, do we have your FAFSA? Do we have the ACT scores? Is the University of Memphis, your school, certified with the Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation? That's a big one. When you fill out the FAFSA, whatever state school you put the very first time that you fill out the FAFSA as the first school on your FAFSA, that's the only school that's the school that is certified with the state of Tennessee. So if you did not put the University of Memphis as your first school, okay, then that information is going to a different school. You can update it pretty easily. Google TSAC Student Portal, TSAC Student Portal, log into the TSAC Student Portal, add the University of Memphis, email us, tell you did so, and we will get working on that for you.
Okay, well, a couple more questions that have come in. One is, when will we be able to apply for residence halls? And we do anticipate that housing application opening around March 1st. And at that time, students will be able to complete their application. And we do anticipate our new student orientation, that appointment I mentioned where you get to come to campus and choose your classes. We anticipate that too, having the registration open around March 1st as well. So neither one is open at this time. We did have another question about a FAFSA. It said I was notified that my FAFSA was processed about a week ago and that I should hear back from the university on my next steps. Should I wait a few weeks or should I reach out to financial aid? So Matt, if you could give them a little bit of advice kind of on the timing and what they should do.
Sure. So that kind of fits into what was going on with the Hope Scholarship there. You know, again, just started the spring semester. So if you completed your FAFSA last week or really since the new year started, we are already running processes for 2021, 2022. It's not that the information is not necessarily available and that we're not continuing to work on it. It's just that we will be sending out actual financial aid letters again towards the beginning of next month. Okay, so you will, if we have the information that we need from you, okay, then we will be able to move forward with sending your financial aid package here very early in the spring in the next few weeks. Now, how do you know if we have everything that we need for you? And I just told you information's available. If it's there, you can sign into your My Memphis account, click on student pages, and then click on My Finances. Okay, when you click on My Memphis, student pages, My Finances on the right side, you're going to see the financial aid requirements box. That will tell you whether or not we actually have your FAFSA on file. If you see free application for federal student aid with a green check mark, we have it. If you see additional requirements in that box that have red flags next to them, those are things that we need from you before we can actually package your financial aid. But if you have all green check marks, then the box under that is financial aid awards, and you can review your awards within that box, even before you might actually get a physical hard copy letter from us.
Okay, another question that came in, are freshmen required to live on campus? And I'm going to answer, but panel feel free to add to the answer. And that is, freshmen are not required to live on campus. If you're thinking about it though, there are definitely some advantages, convenience to all your classes and all the resources we have available to you. Panel, if anybody wants to add to that, you certainly may.
I will say there are some scholarships that have required their freshman cohort to live on campus. The first year, First Scholars was one of those, but right now during the pandemic, we have waived that requirement for this upcoming year.
Another question was, are there any internships for freshmen on campus? And maybe someone would like to speak about also student employment on campus. Maybe touch on both of those.
So I've had the experience, fortunately, to work in the Career Services Office at the UofM. And typically, internships aren't something that you're going to see in that first year. That's not to say that you might be able to connect to a very meaningful internship experience, but mostly our freshmen are engaging in our work study opportunities or our regular student employee opportunities. And so through the financial aid office, there's actually a link for student employment. You have an opportunity to go to that website and see all of the opportunities that are available for you on campus. We also have a research park at the university through which there is an entrepreneur center that hires several of our U of M students in our call center. And they also hire students at various levels academically. But what I would say in terms of the internship search is that you'll want to begin that process sooner rather than later. It's never too early to begin that process. It's actually never too early to connect with the Career Services Office at the university. Like Melvin said, if you've got that U number, you've connected to the university and you're ready to join Tiger Nation, there are resources you can begin to access through Career Services immediately.
Perfect. Now, a lot of questions about financial aid and scholarships. Matt, one question was, did he say February 1st? Is that the deadline for scholarships? Do you just want to tick off a few deadlines for them?
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking through and answering a handful of them that are kind of specific by typing, but that was one that I definitely wanted to address to the group. February the 1st is the application deadline specifically for scholarships on Tiger Scholarship Manager and First Scholars, what Jackie was referring to. And Jackie, what about Equal Opportunity? Is that one, what was that one? We don't have sound from you.
March.
Oh, there we go. I'm sorry, say it again. We only got it the very last bit.
Sorry, mid-March. They
Okay.
haven't got an exact date.
Okay, fair enough, fair
Okay,
enough. So for the Equal Opportunity Scholarship, it's mid-March, but remember that is an application that is completely separate from the University of Memphis. And so this is, this is one of those things. If you have questions, this is why we're here to ask, right? February 1st for Tiger Scholarship Manager and First Scholars, okay? For our academic scholarships, the priority consideration deadline to be admitted and to have the test scores and the ACT, or the test scores and the GPAs to us, is for this year is March 1st. Okay, so it's a little bit different. So there's kind of a couple of different deadlines there, but the main ones are going to be February the 1st for First Scholars and for everything on Tiger Scholarship Manager, and March 1st for our academic scholarship programs.
Very good. I see one more question, and that is, will we be able to make our own clubs when we come to campus? And the answer is yes. We have around 350 student organizations, but if there's a club that you would like to start, we do have a process that you follow to get support for your club. And yes, you certainly may. All right. I believe that's it from what I see on the questions. So the program is going to conclude with an opportunity for you to attend a breakout session. So essentially, you have the opportunity to meet with each of us in a breakout room, and you can ask us questions. You can even meet with our current students who are joining us tonight. So please look in the chat, and in the chat is where you're going to find the link that you would click on to then access each one of those rooms. And I'm going to stay here in this location